Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dr. Reza Garibagi. I would like to have a presentation which is entitled Tsunami of Retracted Papers During the COVID-19 Pandemic. My conflict of interest has been published in my own website. Actually, as an introduction, the COVID-19 pandemic has caused immense hardship and human tragedy over the past years, affecting all aspects of life. The human community that boosted of modern diagnosis and treatment technologies continue to remain in a state of shock about COVID-19. The pandemic has once again proved that science still has a long time to go. Given the challenge that COVID-19 has brought this, it is imperative for different disciplines of the research community to study on this. And we also published a study about the social and academic responsibility given COVID-19 that I would refer to that publication also. About the acceleration and precision, I would like to mention a few topics that the lockdown imposed following its outbreak made an increase in the number of papers submitted by researchers. On the other hand, several journals have shown haste both in peer review and acceptance of COVID-19 related papers, and submission to journals revealed an irregular and exponential growth, as well as this irregularity happened, for example, in the first wave of the pandemic compared to other time periods. There were fewer research articles by female authors compared to their male colleagues, which could be attributed to the additional responsibilities that women should have at home. For example, Professor Flamino Scosoni, a top researcher in Milan, showed that the pandemic had given incredible opportunities for researchers, but it has also been a shock to the academic system with an explosion of publications as well as citations for COVID-19. The important topic that I would like to mention in my presentation is about retraction. The large number of submissions on one hand and the journal's preference to publish more papers on COVID-19 on the other hand made the ethical process of peer reviewing challenging, with many papers being retracted in a short time frame. As a definition of the retraction, as you all know, the Committee on Publication Ethics, or COPE, mentioned that the retraction is a mechanism for correcting the literature and alerting readers to publications that contain such seriously flawed or erroneous data that their findings and conclusions can be relied upon. Unreliable data may result from honest error or from research misconduct. Actually, the main purpose of retraction is to correct the literature and the scholarly publications and ensure its integrity rather than to punishment of the authors who misbehavior. This is a good publication that Dr. Alison, Adam, and Ivan Oransky, they published in the early time of the pandemic, entitled An Alarming and Exceptionally High Rate of COVID-19 Retractions. They said that more than 20 papers of COVID-19 have retracted in the early phase of pandemic, but the things that recently, just a few days ago, they published a report in the valuable website Retraction Watch. Based on the retraction right database, a tool for monitoring retracted papers, they showed that over 250 articles concerning COVID-19 were retracted since the establishment of the pandemic, and furthermore, 14 expressions of concern were published. Although studies shows that retractions take around 3 years on average for COVID-19 literature, this time frame has been reduced to only a few months or even a few weeks. Actually, the standards of peer reviewing and publication are in a dire need of restructuring in order to reduce the incidence of retraction owing to misconduct. This is a publication from The Lancet entitled Learning from a Retraction Study. They showed that the study on the effects of hydroxychloroquine on COVID-19 was published in The Lancet, which was later, after only a few weeks, retracted, and led to the designing of the new independent peer review system concerning papers containing large data set or real-world data. This even led to the use of experts in data science besides statistical peer reviewers, with particular focus on data sharing statements. This is a published paper from Lancet entitled Learning from the Retraction. Actually, preprints, they have the big headache in research integrity that Dr. Fatemeh will speak about the preprints and their advantages and disadvantages of the preprints. However, a preprint is usually withdrawn only at an author's wishes. A preprint server will not typically withdraw a flawed preprint against the wishes of the author, since the server made no claim to have peer review. It's interesting, and certified the scientific connect in the first place. However, some preprints will withdraw a preprint against the author wishes in the sign of the fraud, ethics violation, dangerous material, or legal issues. But who is responsible for preprint content, and who informed the preprint servers that this study has, for example, fraud, ethics violation, dangerous materials, or legal issues? The suggestion that has been published in a recent paper in the Medical Hypothesis Discovery Innovation Ophthalmology journal is a triangle named as a FES, meaning that field expert, ethics expert, and statistical peer reviewer, at least one for each, assigned for a paper. One is a field expert peer reviewer who will review the subject in the specialty field. The other researcher is a reviewer that review the paper in terms of principle through science integrity and principles of the ethics, and another expert checks the details of the data set and the statistical integrity of the research article. These are the minimum requirements in our point of view for the COVID at least peer reviewers. And journals should proportionally hire more expert peer reviewers and preferably and especially paid peer reviewers to check the integrity and the content of the papers. Thank you very much for everybody. This is my email address. I will be happy to help if there is any question.